Hey everybody, Whitney Labrie here, and this past summer I created a loft-style kitchen inside a shadow box. So today I thought I would pull that out and we would redecorate it for Halloween. So let's just say it's going to be a little bit cute, and because I can't help it, it's going to be a little bit creepy too. So let's get started. Here's the kitchen how we left it, with my Mary mushrooms right there in the center and all the cute little kitchen stuff all around, very boho chic. We'll call it that anyway. I'm going to take most of the accessories down, and then we're going to start replacing those with some really fun Halloween items. I have these Halloween styled hot plates that are meant for the wall, so I'm going to go ahead and put those up on the bricks. And then I have a set of these vintage pumpkins with arms and legs, and they're really cute and funny, and I'm going to put those in various spots around the kitchen also. I have about 4 of those that I'll be using. Then I have this adorable little pumpkin right here. This is most likely polymer clay, and someone made it. It wasn't me. And it has just some really cute Halloween candies hanging out the top. So I'll place that on the counter. I also have a set of little Halloween cupcakes that I've put a little mini tack on them, and I placed them on the cutting board, and I'll place those on the counter. Of course, the kitchen needs a skull. And I also have this little black cat that I'm going to put up on the shelves also. I have this little metal spider web. This was actually sent to me by a tiny friend. Her name is Mindy, and I'm going to go ahead and include that on the window. I have a little mini skeleton that I want to put up on top of the vent. And then I thought it'd be fun to replace the dirty dishes with a dirty cauldron. I also have this cute little floral with an eyeball. It's like a rose with an eyeball. So I'm going to put that on top of the refrigerator. And then I have a few of these really tiny ornaments. They were probably for a miniature Halloween tree. I have a skeleton coming out of a coffin. I have a mummy. So I'm going to put those around also. And then another one of my favorite Halloween items that I have is this little ghoul. That's a trick-or-treat basket, and it has candy in it. And so I'm going to also place that on the counter. And here's another one of those small little ornaments. And then there's the little coffin with the skeleton. And then I have a little rat. This is from Limax, and I'm going to place it down in the bottom with the pantry type items. And then I have another little tiny pumpkin right here, and I'm going to put it down underneath the sink so that the orange will kind of draw our eye down there, and you'll just see this little cute pumpkin smiling at you. And that's pretty much the Halloween makeover. But once I did it, I kind of thought, you know what? It's really cute, and I love it. I love all this little Halloween stuff. But at the same time, I feel like it is a little too cute maybe. And I'd like it to be a little bit spookier. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those 3 items right there, the pumpkin with the candy and the ghoul with the candy and the cupcakes. I'm going to remove those and make room for something else. And I'm just going to move those over to my dollhouse, my main dollhouse, which is the Garfield. I'm sure that I'll find a great spot for them. But in the meantime, let's get to making this kitchen a little bit more spooky. This is a microwave here, and it's made by Mini Brands. This was sent to me by my good friend Carol Kay, who always sends me treasures, and I mention her a lot. And she sent me this little microwave here, and the inside plate on this one was missing. And believe it or not, she then sent me another microwave that was complete. So now I have 2, and I thought that this one would be perfect for me to kind of make a little bit more ghoulish today. And so that's what we're going to do. So I've got my blue gloves on, and that's because I'm about to use my epoxy clay, which I've been obsessed with lately. But honestly, it is pretty amazing stuff. So I thought it would be fun if I made some sort of like tentacles or something coming out of this microwave. And I want to put tentacles actually all over the kitchen. Not octopus tentacles. I'm thinking more like mysterious alien type of tentacles, or something like more like from the movie The Blob or The Thing, something like that, where it's like nondescript but creepy. So I started off, of course, by making a whole bunch of tentacles. And since I'm still kind of getting used to the epoxy clay, I made a little bit too much of it. So I'm going to make a few extra tentacles for another project that I'm working on, and you'll see that actually maybe next week. So I'm just going to keep rolling out some tentacles and making like a blob-like type of a body inside the microwave. And then I'm going to have all the tentacles coming out of it and wrapping it around the microwave. Now I do want them to kind of have some motion to them. So I want them to be kind of coming up and around on the top of the microwave. I don't want them all just laying flat. I'm just kind of playing with it a little bit until I'm satisfied with the look. Now the thing about epoxy you have to be careful with epoxy clay is, of course, the word epoxy, you probably have already guessed, it acts like an adhesive. So anything you put on it, it's going to glue it together. So I will make sure that this stays open as it dries. I want to be able to open that microwave door. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to set that aside and let that dry. And then I made a whole bunch of extra tentacles also. I put these in the kitchen while the clay was still wet so I could get the shapes that I wanted and then remove them very carefully and then lay them out to dry in the shapes that I need them to be in. All right, and that's what my microwave is looking like now that it's dry. I want to go ahead and paint. I want to paint all the little tentacles. And because I'm thinking, you know, like the movie's Blob and also like the movie The Thing, I'm going to paint these in a pink color. The color I'm actually painting them in is called Rose, but these are nothing like a rose. These are disgusting, actually, and they're going to get worse. So it does take a couple coats to paint on the epoxy to get it how you want it. I think it took me about 3 coats each. And when they're all nice and dry, I do want to make them a little bit more gooey. I'm going to take some of my UV resin and my resin color just in a regular bright red. And I was going to add a little bit of blue to darken it up, but I was afraid it'd be too purple, so I didn't do that. Just went with straight red. And now I'm just adding some of that resin straight onto my tentacles and kind of around the tentacles on the microwave so that it kind of looks a little gooey. And I also have this brain. I didn't make it. Somebody else did. Carol might have sent that to me also in another package. Gosh, she spoiled me so much that I actually am having a hard time remembering what all she sent me at times, but I feel like that might be from her. So I had extra red resin. So I went ahead and put some on the brain also just to make it also a little bit more juicy looking. And then I'm also, of course, putting it all over the tentacles. And then I'll just hit that with a black light, with my UV black light, and go ahead and set the resin. And you can see here what the microwave now looks like. Creepy Creeperton. The brain also, and then the tentacles. And the black, I was repurposing some wax paper that I used, so that's just old black paint underneath. For the next gruesome piece, I have 2 of these mini brands red food processors. So this one, we're gonna make spooky. We're gonna spookify it. One of the amazing things about the mini brands, you guys know I love them so much because they're so freaking realistic. It's the mini brand Homes edition, if anybody's interested in knowing. It's the mini brand Homes. And look at this though, how cute this is. It even comes with the interior mini blade. The chopper, that's the chopper, and then the other blade's already inside it. Oh my gosh, it's too cute, but I don't need that piece, so I'm going to take that back out. Now, because I had mixed too much epoxy clay earlier, of course, as you know, I use it to make another project, which you'll see later in a different video. And then I also used some of it to make a couple of roly-poly eyeballs, and I've painted them white. And I also made a few little tongues too, and I painted those pink. Ay. Okay, why does my brain work like this? I don't know. Okay, so I'm taking more of my UV resin. I'm just gonna put it right down inside of my food processor, add a little bit more of my red, mix it up with a toothpick, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add my eyeballs. And I ended up only using 2 eyeballs because one eyeball fell off of my workstation and rolled into oblivion, so I may never find it. But that's okay because 2 worked out just fine. And now I'm adding my tongues also inside there. I'm going to hit that with the UV, of course, and then just lightly dab a little pupil onto my eyeballs. So that way when I look down inside of it, I've got 2 eyeballs staring back at me and some tongues. I'm sure once this is all mixed together, it's just delightful, I'm sure. Add a little vodka to it and I'm sure it'll go down smooth. All right, so let's go ahead and set up the spooky part of our Halloween kitchen, starting with our microwave. And then I'll go ahead and add our food processor. I have that cutting board that pulls out. I'll put it on that and then I'll put the lid right next to it. And then I'm going to go ahead and start putting around my slimy little tentacles. And I will be using some mini hold to keep them in place. And so I made 1 for the sink, 2 for the refrigerator. I'll put the brain inside the oven, and then I have 1 tentacle coming out of the oven. And then I'm going to also hang 1 off of the vent hood as well. All right, and there we go. Now we have a Halloween kitchen that's kind of cute and kind of spooky. And what's really fun about all these tentacles is I can just pack them away when the season's over and pull them out next year. and we're ready to go. So I hope you enjoyed this little Halloween mini makeover of my kitchen. Actually, it really made my heart happy to make that microwave with those tentacles coming out of it. I kind of wanted to do that for a little bit, so that was really fun to do. Highly recommend it. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do so you don't miss out on any more content. Of course, I am working on the crow project. It will be coming out on Halloween if all goes well. If you're looking for more mini content and maybe even other fun crafts and sometimes baking, you can follow me over on my Patreon. Please consider becoming a member there. It definitely helps out the channel. All right, you guys, that's it for me this week. Loved hanging out with you. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye.